Hello, and welcome to the Women's Business Edit. I am your host, Michelle Garner, and this is my very good friend, Heather. Do not mind her if I have to remind her throughout the recording to look at the camera.
Lovely.
Heather, as I said in our last podcast, is the owner of Willow and Ash boutique stores in Forest Grove and in Hillsborough. She is also a Navy veteran. She's been married to her husband for like ever. Like 25 years, I think you said, right?
20. It'll be
20 years. 20 years. And they run and operate their business together. And so today I wanted to talk to her about what it's like to be a boutique owner, what got her into the business, and why it keeps her in this arena of business ownership. Exciting stuff. Yeah. So Heather, why don't you tell us a little bit about Willow and Ash and how you started?
Well, it was kind of I don't want to say it was a fluke, but the assets of a previous business that is in the current space in Forest Grove came available. And my gut reaction was, I don't want to see this close up and go away. I want to do this. And so I told my husband. He looked at me and thought, okay, but this is on you. Like, okay. So we did it. I scrambled, got some money together. We sat down. I signed the paperwork. It seemed like it was a whirlwind because it happened really quickly. And then I sat down after signing the paperwork and thought, I have to quit my job. My entire life has to change. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have managed tasting rooms for wineries. I've managed retail spaces before, but never owned my own. So I thought, this is going to be fun. So we just kind of went headlong into it, and we're still here 3 years later. We opened another space in Hillsborough. So, and then we recently morphed it into more, we have custom services like engraving, embroidery, printing. There's all kinds of stuff that we can do in addition to having a really cute little eclectic gift shop in both spaces.
Awesome.
So it's kind of just how it all came about.
You said you've been in business for 3 years?
Yes. 3 years here in Forest Grove.
Congratulations.
We just opened the one in October of 2025 in Hillsborough.
I have no idea what that happened in your life. No clue at all.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay. I have a couple of questions that I want to go over with Heather. Full disclosure, I sent these to her in advance, so she should have answers. But I think that they're really honest questions where us as women in business can relate to, and our stories to these questions and to these challenges and to these journeys. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring Heather on here, is because she has such a unique journey and such a unique story to tell. And I feel like she can bring a lot to all of us, and we can learn something really great from her. So let's start with some honest questions.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
So when you started Willow and Ash, what did that actually look like for you in the beginning?
It looked, to be perfectly honest, it looked like a lot of fly by the seat of your pants. What do I do? How do I do this? Who do I, like some of the first things were, where do I buy product? What should I be pricing my product as? Who should I be working with? Those kinds of things you don't really know unless you're seasoned in the business community and you have a background in business. My background is in public relations journalism. So whole different world. But it looked like a lot of, let's throw this at the wall and see what sticks. What works for us may not work for someone else. But it did work for us. And there were things that I learned along the way. One of the first things I did was I joined a small business course over at Portland Community College. Huge, huge thing to do, because you can learn a lot of things that you wouldn't know in trying to run a business, even a small one like a gift shop. So it just, there's a lot of little things you don't think of. And so you kind of have to figure it out on your own if you haven't had the education in it. But you can still do it. I mean, you can try things. If they don't work, pivot, try something else. Just don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it, because it could get really expensive
and quick. It can get expensive fast. So be prepared for that. If you're just starting out, is the expense of what those startup costs might look like, especially if you're self-funded, like Heather and I both are self-funded small businesses. And I think sometimes those costs come out of nowhere, right? As much research as you can possibly do to prepare yourself for whatever those startup costs might be. So for Heather, I think that was purchasing the assets of the business and then taking over the lease. For us, it included all of our licensing, finding a commercial kitchen that we could use to start out at, finding, our ingredient vendors and source all of that out. So do as much research as you possibly can, but I would definitely recommend having a little bit of extra padding because those costs add up and they add up really quickly. But moving on, what is something that that you wish someone told you earlier before starting Willow and Ash, not after?
Gosh, there could be a long list, but I guess the first thing that comes to mind is you can do it. I mean, you think going into it, it's like, I have no education. I don't know what I'm doing. What the heck am I doing? But you can do it. You just have to be willing to say, I need help.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is, you're not going to know everything. If you put yourself out there like you know everything and you've got it all covered, it could bite you in the rear later on. I mean, I'll be totally honest. I first started out going, I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to ask for help. I have to show people I can do this on my own. Nope. No, I don't recommend that. I definitely ask for help. Even if you just go to your chamber or you talk to another business who you feel confident can talk to you about some of their challenges, people aren't going to give you all the information, not going to give you everything you need. You're going to have to build that on your own, but you can do it with help. Just ask for help. Small business classes at your local community college, huge. It's huge for entrepreneurship because it helps you get those things together that you might not otherwise have known were there and available to you because you just kind of went like me headlong into this business. And now I've kind of gotten an idea of how things are working. So, okay, now I can help other businesses and say, this is what worked for me. This may not work for you. But if you go do this, this, and this, take from that list what has worked from you or worked for you, and then work from there and talk to the people. Talk to people that have more experience than you is what my biggest thing would be.
I would agree with that. And I would also say, if you don't know where to go to find those people, start at your local chamber of commerce.
Yes.
I was not a part of our local chamber of commerce right up front, and I wish I would have done that differently. I wish I would have gone to them, asked them what it entailed to become a member and how that membership could benefit my small business. Because I really did have gotten a lot of really great resources and a lot of great networking that put me in connection with people who could help me build my business and give me those tools I otherwise would not have had. And I would also recommend being a part of more than one chamber. So we are a part of Urban River Spirits. It's a part of 3. How many is Willow and Ash a part of?
3. Yeah, 3.
And that expands your visibility to other areas that you may not normally be in. And gets you additional resources because not each chamber is going to be the same size or have the same types of resources available to them. So definitely look into being parts of more than one chamber if you can afford it, because they usually do have annual membership dues.
Yeah.
So some real talk, business. Money. We all like making it.
Yeah.
But with that has challenges. So what has been the hardest money lesson you've learned so far being a small business owner?
Ooh, there are quite a few. No, you are not going to make a lot out the gate. It takes work. If you're going to succeed and bring in the money that you need, you have to be savvy. Like for us, it's a gift shop. So we have to be mindful of the things that we carry, the community that we're in, what things people are looking for. Our services are the same. We're in an area and a state where people love state stuff, like the Oregon State shirts, the Hillsborough shirts, Forest Grove shirts, hats, all that stuff. So we make those things. Whereas in another town, they may not be as big. So you kind of have to be mindful of what you're carrying, what you have, what you offer your community. And just know that pricing is important. I mean, that you're bringing in income to your store. You have to be mindful of your pricing, but you also know you have to price things in order to make money, because it's not just bringing in the profit. You also have to pay your staff, pay your bills, pay your rent. All that stuff is important. After that, then yeah, I mean, you have to make enough to be able to keep your doors open and sustain your business. We have to order things constantly. That costs money.
I would also say forecasting your financials the best you can. My background is in operations and finance, and so I am not new to forecasting. I spend several weeks going over all of our costs, what it costs for our bottles, for our ingredients, what that will look like retail, how much should we raise our prices? Are we going to be okay for another year? And then account for your rent, your facility rent, your paying yourself, if you're able to pay yourself, all of those things. And forecasting really helps that. And if you guys are interested in learning a little bit about forecasting, please put it in the comments section, and we will definitely have a little tutorial on how we do forecasting, and maybe it will help you. Give us a second. We have some guests joining us from Willow and Ash. I believe this is Harry, the other half of Willow and Ash.
Yeah.
Let's say hi, Harry. Hello. That's Caitlin. That's the third half of Willow and Ash. This is part of podcasting, friends, especially when you own small businesses. Things don't stop. Like your spouse is walking in.
Delivery, yay.
Delivering custom service things, which we will talk about here in the next few minutes.
And he does quite a bit of engraving and embroidery, so that's what he brought us today.
Okay, on to the next question. What part of running a business drains you the most aside from Harry?
Oh, gosh. Just the daily stress. You are going to have stress no matter what you do, but it's good stress and bad stress on any given day. Really, it's hoping that you get the business coming in, the revenue coming in, that you're getting your message out to your community and beyond. I mean, the big thing is networking with other people, other businesses, but also going outside your community, making sure those messages are being heard. That's like my daily stressor. I love seeing the community come in and shop our store. We love meeting new people, meeting a ton of regulars that come in. That's the good stress. I love that stress. It's trying to meet those expectations that I really am excited about. But it's the other stuff too. I mean, you have the economy. The current economy is kind of tumultuous right now. So it's a daily stressor.
The unknown.
Yeah. The unknown. Never knowing what's going to happen.
That's right. Also, like what decision you should make. Is it the right decision? It's the wrong decision. Is it going to benefit you? Is it not? Is it going to hurt you in the long run? All of those things add stress, but take them one at a time. You're not going to have all the answers up front. And quite frankly, most of us don't have all the answers up front. I don't care what anybody tells you. We're all kind of winging it.
100%.
What does balance look like for you? Or do you have any balance in your life?
At the moment, I don't know that I would say.
Harry's still behind the camera waving.
Bye. I don't have much balance. It's one thing I definitely need to work on, and I always tell other people that are in business, we've got to find that even balance between running our business, running our household, and having times for ourselves. Because one thing I didn't do and factor into all this was self-care. And that's a big one. So now, I've joined Meraki Fitness over here in Hillsboro. Fantastic place.
I'm glad you said that because we'll talk about that by the end of the podcast.
But I'm getting more strength again. I'm caring about my health. So you really have to put that into yourself so that you can effectively run your business. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, your business will fail too.
And I would also say, Heather and Harry are a lot like Jackie and I, where we are not only business partners, but we are married. And so there's there's no boundaries, right? There's always crossover in our lives, whether we're always talking about the business, what's up next, what are your plans for the day, that always inevitably surround themselves around running your business. I think that also makes it much more difficult to have any sort of balance. And I don't think that as small business owners, you can expect a whole lot of balance. Not until you get a certain point where you can afford staff that can help you run your business, who are also knowledgeable in their areas and can help take over. Maybe like for Heather, that might look like running the store for a couple of days. For us, it might be having some people out and about at events for us, so we don't have to worry about that. But in the beginning, do not expect, I think it would be unrealistic for you to expect to have any real work-life balance. When you're in the building phase and the growth phase, that takes a lot of effort. And most of the time it's just you or you and your spouse getting it done. There's nobody else to help you. So just go into that prepared. And I think if you have your expectations set correctly, you'll find not only a whole lot of stress, but a whole lot less disappointment.
Yeah.
I had that for sure. I was
Absolutely.
like, wait a minute.
Yep.
I left my corporate job working like 60 and 80-hour weeks to working 100-hour weeks.
Yeah.
What is this bullshit?
And remember, it is not 9 to 5.
It is not. It's 24/7. At any given point, you're getting an email, you're getting a social media post, you're thinking about, like, you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, oh crap, like I didn't schedule this, or I didn't get back to this person, or I still need to send out that check.
Exactly.
All that stuff keeps you up at night. And don't be hard on yourself. We are still human at the end of the day. You are going to have a lot on your plate. You're inevitably going to forget something, and it's okay. Breathe through it. And just know it's not 9 to 5.
No.
9 to 7.
Yeah. But we say this, and I've been asked, I don't know how many times, gosh, why do you do it? And I say, because this is my business. Well, mine and my husband's now, but this is mine. I'm not working for someone else. Succeed or fail, it's me. It's mine. And I would do it again. I would quit my 9 to 5 to do this again. Fail or succeed. I love it. So I think that's the rewarding part of this. Yeah, you're taking all this on, and you do have to find a work-life balance, especially if you're married to your business partner. You do have to find it. But you can do it, and once you do it, it's very rewarding. Mm-hmm. And you'll say the same thing. Like, I would do this again because this is me. I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so this next topic that we're going to talk about is confidence and identity and growth, not only as a woman in business, but just as a woman in general. And I know I've struggled with this a lot, not only in my corporate career, but starting our business from the ground up and building it. Imposter syndrome. Have you heard of it? Oh, that
we all get it.
Tricky little bastard. But how did imposter syndrome show up for you, and when did it show up for you? Because I think the timing of when it shows up is actually quite valuable in your lessons learned and your growth moving forward.
To be perfectly honest, in the beginning, it didn't show up. When it showed up for me, and I remember exactly when it showed up, was going to a function with a bunch of other business owners, both women and men, but most of them were women at this one. And you walk in and you get this feeling that, oh, I don't know if I belong here. That's imposter syndrome. You know you belong there. Inherently, you know you belong there. You own a business. You're running a successful business. In whatever way success looks for you, it's not going to look like for someone else. And so you start to feel the messages when they're saying, well, I made $200,000 in my December last year. And you're thinking to yourself, ouch, I only made 50. Those are just examples. But that kind of thing starts to make you doubt yourself and what you're doing, and if you even should be in the room. Don't ever feel that way. You have a business. You are successful in your way. You absolutely belong in that room. And imposter syndrome can show up in many different ways for many different people. I mean, that's when it showed up for me. And then throughout the last 3 years, there's been moments where I just feel like I don't belong here because I just feel like I'm not successful right now. And it's not even just that I wasn't successful. It was that the economy has taken a dip, foot traffic has decreased, And there were moments where I wasn't feeling successful, but my business was still doing well. That's success. If you're still here and you're still plugging away at it and you still want to put that work in and people know you're here. I mean, I still have people that go, oh my gosh, I love your store. And they live on the East Coast. That's success. You absolutely belong in the room. Don't ever feel like imposter syndrome is something that you should be feeling, even though we all kind of feel it sometimes, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And if you say that you don't, I'm calling you a liar. I'm glad you brought up the don't ever feel like you don't belong in a room. I saw a video of President Obama, and he was saying, listen, you're going to walk into these spaces, these really fancy spaces with all these people with these really fancy titles, and they're going to make you feel like you don't know any better. Yeah. Neither do they. And it's true. It's true. If someone says, I have all the answers, they're lying to you. Nobody's ever going to have all the answers. We are all figuring this out. And don't you dare ever think like you don't belong in a space because maybe your business is brand new or maybe you're having a rough year. We all have them. We all have growth periods. We all have stagnant periods. We all have dips in our revenue and think, oh shit, how the hell am I going to pay bills this month? Yeah. Hi, been there.
Oh, yes.
And it does not take away from what you bring to the table and what your business brings to the table. There is enough space for all of us here. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's enough space for everyone. So do not be afraid to reach out to the people who know you, who care about you, who also maybe own small businesses. I cannot tell you, like I said in the last podcast, the last 3 years have been hard. They have been hard both personally and professionally for me. And I cannot tell you the asset that Heather has been. I have called her and said, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I here?
I've been there too.
What the literal F is like, what is this? This is bullshit. I don't want to deal with this. I want to deal with this. And her advice was always like, okay, you can either sit and like wallow in your bullshit or you can keep going. Like pick one. It's true. It's true. The reality is the choice was never be stagnant. You have to pick a path. And if you're going to pick a path, you might as well pick a path that is rewarding and fulfilling for you. It doesn't mean it will be easy. Do not mistake what we're saying here.
This is not easy.
No, it's not.
But it's worthwhile.
Yes. It is a roller coaster. So
it is. Yes.
Buckle up, buttercup.
A big roller coaster. But it's worth it.
It is worth it if you're willing to put the work in. Speaking of imposter syndrome and like figuring shit out, what are you still trying to figure out 3 years in?
Oh gosh. So for our industry, you really have to figure out, okay, what new things can I be doing for the new year? Each new year brings in new challenges. It's like, okay, here we are with our foot traffic. How do we bring in more foot traffic? So now we have to tailor our business to figure out ways to bring in more people, to get our message out to a wider audience. There's a lot that I'm still putting into this business.
That it doesn't ever stop.
No,
it just
I'm
keeps
still
going and going and going.
You're constant. You're still figuring out what your messages are going to be. I mean, what worked 2 years ago doesn't work now, as everyone knows with TikTok. You get something popular, 5 minutes later, it's done. I mean, you got something new now. It's the same thing with a business. We've got to figure out our messages and tailor them to how everybody's seen it. Everything's online. While we don't have an online store, we still have people that love to come in and put their hands on items. So we know our messaging has to change. And I'm still figuring out how that does it. I figure out what products to bring in. I figure out what our business should be doing to be more relevant in our community and beyond, because we network outside of Hillsborough and Forest Grove because we have our custom services. So,
that's true. I think that's an important message though, right? When you see small businesses say shop small, this right here is why. You just heard Heather say, I have to figure out this. I have to figure out what new product to bring. I have to figure out how we can stay relevant to people. We have to figure out what people like and what they don't like and what does that look like and all that costs money and how do I find all the money? Yeah. When we say your sale, your business, your support, even if it's like liking and sharing our social media and recommending us to someone.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Right? And say, hey, I really loved this mixture I had at Urban River. You should go give it a try. Or, hey, I found the perfect gift at Willow and Ash. And also, they do these really great custom services. You should go talk to them about maybe getting that done. Remember, you said you wanted that custom Christmas ornament? Go over there. They can help you with that. When we say shop small, that's why all of those things matter to us. Every person who walks into our lounge or walks into one of Heather's stores is someone who can potentially support our small business and support our dream of keeping our businesses alive and moving forward. And it's supporting our families directly. And so I think that message, shop small, is lost on a lot of people. They're like, oh, yeah, shop small, whatever. I can go to Amazon and get it overnighted. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you choose to do. What I'm saying, though, is that when you hear us say shop small, this is what we mean. And so I hope that gives some clarification to some people about why that messaging is so important and what it really means to support small businesses in your local community. It doesn't have to be here in Forest Grove or Hillsborough or Beaverton or even in Oregon. Wherever your small community is, I can guarantee you there's a couple, probably a handful of small businesses that would be really grateful that you just walked through their doors.
Yeah.
Moving on to community, what kind of support has made the biggest difference for you as a business owner?
Honestly, working with fellow other business owners, just to talk, not even to just get advice, but just to say, hey, we're in the same boats here. We're all in the same community. What can we all do together to help boost revenue, but not even revenue, just how can we be a community of supporters for each other? But the bigger other thing is being a part of my community is especially important, by supporting the schools, by supporting other nonprofits. You're in this community. It's your responsibility as a business. And I'm also a resident in this community of Forest Grove. We're responsible for being a part of this community, for pitching in and helping out and doing what we can. Sometimes that looks like sponsoring things. Sometimes that looks like giving things for auctions and such. Sometimes we can or can't do that, depending on the revenue that's coming in. But the most we can do is still be that vocal supporter of all the organizations and other fellow businesses. But my other big thing on community. So my big thing is, we were just talking shop small. Shop small is incredibly important because everything seems to be going so much more online since COVID, because it shifted us all towards an online presence so that we could connect. And that's great. The problem is more and more people are connecting online and less people are coming out and connecting in person. And so we are seeing that in restaurants, in stores, in our local senior centers. People they're just not coming out for events anymore as much as they used to anymore. So being a part of the community means you have to come out and do those things so our community still thrives and has these activities, because if you don't come out, we don't stay. We disappear because we can't keep our doors open.
Yeah, that's
Same
true.
thing for the senior centers. They can't keep their doors open if seniors aren't utilizing, or the community isn't utilizing their event spaces, things of that nature. So, yeah.
And you know what's sad to me is that a lot of, in 2025, a lot of small businesses, even in our local community, have unfortunately had to close their doors. We moved, we needed a larger facility, and we're really so grateful for that opportunity, more than I can express. Grateful for that opportunity, but not everybody has our same story. And so when you shop small, that helps shift people having to shut their doors to being able to stay open and being able to stay a part of the community and give back the best they can. Yeah. It really is full circle.
Mm-hmm.
So, honest advice. It's a hard one. If you had to start over tomorrow, what would you do different?
Oh, well, I don't know that I would have put more forethought into purchasing the assets. I still probably would have done the same thing, because sometimes I overthink things, and I probably would have overthought to a point where I wouldn't have done it, and I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I wouldn't have met this fantastic person probably. I might have, who knows, but I wouldn't.
Maybe, but not likely.
I wouldn't have gained some of the great relationships that I've gained just by owning a business and working with my community. But I do say that I think one of the things I would have done differently, I would have probably tried to have more money in the bank. It was tough to start with very little in the bank. We put a lot of debt on cards because as we order product for stores, we put them on credit cards, turn on and pay them off as things come in. But that's tough to start out with debt. And I don't recommend it. It's tough because you could find yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and having to face bankruptcy. That's no fun. And it's rough, but you don't want to do that. So I think that's what I would say to anybody who wants to do this. Make sure you can either gain a little bit of cash in the bank, some sort of credit line that you're working with a local institution, and really start taking some classes early on. It took me about a year before I started taking classes on marketing and advertising, even though I knew some of it from my public relations degree and background. Things change constantly. And so the things that we were doing back in the 90s and early 2000s, and wow, I just dated myself. The things we were doing for that were a lot different than now. I mean, now you have ChatGPT, you have Canva, you have all these things that we didn't have back then. And so there's a whole wealth of things to learn. Start taking those classes in some of your free time. I know, not a lot of free time when you first start out, but take a class here and there. Get a little bit of knowledge. It'll help boost it so you can kind of get down that road a little bit faster than I did. But there's a lot of other things, though, I'm sure.
And circling back, chambers. Utilize the resources at the chambers, 100%. Right? They are there.
Those resources.
Yes, they are there to help you. They are not the ones who are like, meh, you have to be a member. Most of the time, they'll let you come to a few meetings before you decide to become a member. You can meet some people. For me, I have a bachelor's in business administration and I'm finishing my master's in the same with an emphasis in leadership. And so I have a lot of tools in my belt, and including all of my background in operations, where Heather has asked me, hey, what would you do here? And I've said, oh, I would use this spreadsheet, or I would utilize this formula. Yeah. That's the benefit of community, not only as women in business, but as small business owners. You just have to be willing to ask. And I know that's the hardest part because I hate asking for help.
Don't we all?
But
we learn that it's necessary.
It is necessary. And so your community can definitely help ease some of those stressors, those first starting out jitters, those...
Oh God, I have a stomach ache.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. So this one I think is really really important because as small businesses and for-profit businesses, we're in it to make money. I mean, let's not forget we are here to make money. However, there is more to the success of your business outside of revenue. What does that look like for you?
Well, if my biggest thing, I love it when people can recognize my logo, or they recognize me from the store, or somebody will say, I found that in Willow and Ash, and someone else will go, oh my gosh, I love that store. That to me is what success looks like beyond the revenue, because that means they know I'm here. They're telling other people about us. They're willing to come back. So that means we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're bringing people in and giving them a good experience in our store. That's our goal. That's what success is beyond revenue, is that people know you're here. They want to come back. They want to support you. So that's my big thing.
Okay, so I'm going to add two things to that.
Go ahead.
So for Urban River, it's the experience.
Yeah. Well,
the stories that our customers will come and say.
Absolutely.
Hey, I just want to let you know I bought this mixer and I gave it to a friend who wasn't feeling well and they loved it. And that was the only thing they could keep down all day. That's a true story. Or I brought this to family game night. This is another true story. Family game night where they just learned that people did not drink. Yeah. And the mixers were a hit because everybody felt like they could have this really fun mocktail without feeling like they were excluded from the experience. Those stories of people having this experience, I know it sounds crazy, over a bottle of mixer.
It's not crazy.
But that's what I think for us success looks like. And also, I really love it when I get an email that says someone's left you a positive review. That totally makes me warms my heart. I'm like, okay, that definitely is a deposit in the bucket. It's like, yes, we did something right. Someone enjoyed the lounge. Someone enjoyed our mixers. Someone enjoyed chit-chatting with us, and right? Like those are definitely drops in the bucket for us too.
We do have, I will say, since we've put in our custom services, I think one thing that always, it just absolutely warms my heart, and my husband loves it, is when we can have someone come in and ask us, can you put this on this? I'm doing this for my mom who is really sick with cancer, and I want her to have this. And we really want to make sure that we go the extra mile for that client. We don't even know this person. It doesn't matter. We want to make this experience good for them, but also for the person who's receiving it. And if tears flow, that's even better. I know how that sounds, but we want them to have that feeling of, oh my gosh, this was a success.
Yeah.
We want to help them have that success.
Just so you know, the guy earlier, that was the husband.
That's Harry.
That's Harry. Okay. So a couple of closing thought-provoking questions.
Oh,
and
gosh,
then you can get off camera and go back to doing whatever it is that you were doing before I showed up at your door. What would you tell someone who feels behind in their business journey?
Good question. I don't know that you're ever really behind because every journey is different. Every path that's taken is different. Her path's going to be different than my path. Her in December, she's going to be at a different level than I am. It just depends on what you're doing. I don't know that you're ever really behind. The only time you could really say you're behind is if you're really not putting in the work and you just expect things to happen. Then you're pretty much behind in your journey. Because you're not plugging away, putting that work in and going, okay, how can we succeed in this realm? How can we succeed in this realm? How can we push ourselves forward to do more, make more, be more? If you're not doing that work, then yeah, you're kind of behind. But I think everybody in business, they're going to do the work because they want to succeed. So that's how I would answer that.
I do like that answer. But I would also like to stress that taking a day off does not mean you are not putting in the work.
Absolutely. We have now gotten to this point where we told ourselves probably a week ago, we looked at ourselves and said, okay, when we are closed on Sundays and Mondays in our stores, we are not at our stores.
Yeah.
Unless we have a huge custom order, like we do have one for January, we're not going to be there because we need to take that time out. We need to take care of our family. We need to take care of our home. We need to take care of ourselves. And you're not doing that if you're at your store or your business 24/7. Or even close to 24/7. You've got to take that time out.
I want to remind everybody that, we are human and we have families at home too, and friends that we want to go out and have a barbecue with or glass of wine with or whatever. And so when we say our store is closed, even if it's only one day, that one day really is so important. Because we don't get many of those days, especially during like the holiday season. Heather and Harry, they are working 24/7,
7 days
doing custom orders. Their stores are open during the summer. That is my busy season where I will literally come to her and say, we better go have wine today because starting tomorrow, you'll hardly see me for 5 months.
Yeah.
Because we are just doing this, right? Burning and turning and making product and in the lounge and doing this. And so when we say we're closed Mondays, we try and do the same thing. We try and take that Monday completely off so that we can enjoy our family and our friends and recoup and regenerate because we all need that sometimes.
100%.
So just, be kind to your small business owner. Sometimes, you're like, well, I need this, but I get it. And we're going to do everything we can to help you have a wonderful experience in our businesses, but we can't do that if we
Or burned out.
Yeah.
Burnout is a big thing. Anybody in the corporate world knows burnout is a big thing, and it happens with small business.
So this is the last question we have for Heather.
Okay.
What is one honest truth about business ownership that you want to leave listeners with today?
Oh, gosh, you really got the hard ones.
Okay, again, I gave these to her like 2 weeks ago.
I forgot about this
Which
one.
just means she didn't look at them recently.
Yeah, okay. One honest truth about business ownership you want to leave listeners with. It is hard work. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. It doesn't matter the business that you're in. The hard, honest truth is this is hard work. And if you don't do the work, you won't succeed. I mean, that's not negative. That's not necessarily a positive thing if you're not looking at it that way. But it's hard work, but it's rewarding work. And you really have to, you're not going to know it all. That is the truth. You need help. No matter which area you're in, you could have run a multi-million-dollar corporation. But the minute you go into a small business, like say a gift shop or a restaurant or a gift shop is completely different than a multi-million-dollar corporation working with tech or something. So you're going to need a few pointers. You might need a little help. Don't be afraid to ask for it. That's a hard, honest truth. I mean, yeah.
That is.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
We say that and we struggle to ask.
I know. We do all the time.
Hypocrites. We are hypocrites today.
If I ask for help, they're going to think I'm weak, and that's not true.
Or I don't know what I'm doing. Again, none of us know, right? Like we only learn from each other's experiences. So it's important that you share those. It is important that you ask for help, even if it's uncomfortable. And if I had to leave listeners with one thing about business ownership is don't let the fear paralyze you.
Oh, that's a good one. That's true.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
So every decision you make, especially when you're first starting out, because every dollar and every cent matters, is, am I making the right decision?
Yeah.
Am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And fear is the strongest of the human emotions, and it will paralyze you if you let it.
Yeah.
There is a quote that I told Heather when we were both making the decision on whether we were moving to Hillsborough and she wanted to open a second store. And I said, I have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because every decision I make is uncomfortable right now, right? Do we move? Do we not move? And we needed the space, and we were not giving our customers the best experience because we didn't have the space to store the right amount of product we needed or have the right amount of bottles we needed. And the list goes on and on and on and on. But if there's anything I can tell you aside from just take the first step, when you're scared and you don't know if you should do it, just take the first step. You will get stronger and those things will start to seem less scary. Do not let that fear paralyze you, because then your business will stop growing. Then your growth as a woman in business, or just even someone who wants to start out as a small business owner, you will not get out of that experience what you're really meant to if you let the fear paralyze you. There was a video I saw, and this entrepreneur said, listen, when I first started out, I was stressing over money, over a $500 bill. Yep. Now I'm a multimillionaire and I still stress over all the bills. They just got bigger. And I was like, I don't know why that was eye-opening for me, but I thought, well, shit. Yeah. No matter the success, you're always going to stress over the bills. You're always going to stress over what's the next step and what's the next level. That's never going to change. So don't let the fear paralyze you. Thank you so much, Heather, for joining me on episode 2 of the Women's Business Edit. Next week, we're going to talk with Jean.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. She is the owner of Meraki Fitness in Hillsborough, and we're going to talk to her about what it's like to be a woman in a very male-dominated industry like the fitness industry, and what she does to keep her going outside of working out, because she works out a lot.
Oh, yeah. Powerhouse. That woman is a powerhouse.
She is an inspirational one for sure. Yes. She was mine and Jackie's personal trainer. We actually are members of her gym and really love all the classes that her gym has to offer. They offer yoga and spin and strength and all sorts of things. And she's got a really great bunch of trainers. So we really want to talk to her and find out how she started and what her journey is all about. So stay tuned for the next episode of Women's Mississippi. Thank you. Bye.